Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Trail Talk. I am so glad you could join us today. What a wonderful crowd of people we have as guests on today's episode. And they're all here to talk about a brand new, I keep going back to the word program, but I don't know if program, is that the word you use to describe it?
It's hard to say program. It's a lot bigger than just a program.
It's so much bigger, but I'm just gonna say it's something called Community Heart and Soul, and it's coming your way, coming soon to a city near you. And we have Chris Rao here. Chris is a very busy businessman here in the Duncan area. Would the area be?
I'm located here, but it's across the US.
Okay, all right, so he's everywhere. Chris is everywhere. Chris's connection to this is that he was a member of the Leadership Duncan Class 26, which graduated in May.
Yes, ma'am.
And you guys might remember just a couple of weeks ago, Chris Steele was on, kind of introducing the viewers to Leadership Duncan, just kind of an overview of the class. We had a really great discussion about it. And then Alan Gates also was a member of class 26. And then we also have Suzanne Perkins, who is a market development rep for Community Heart and Soul. Is it an organization, LLC? What is that, Suzanne?
It's a foundation, the Orton Foundation.
Okay, all right. So there you have the introductions. Now we're going to kind of dive in to talk about this some more. And so first of all, Alan, Chris Rao. I will point at Chris Deal when it's his turn to talk too. Tell us how you became aware of Community Heart and Soul. Where did this start?
Well, we were actually, each Leadership Duncan class has a project that they do for the year. As we were just talking through, some were helping local, business development, or helping, we are helping Douglas, that's one, just some smaller, the senior citizen. And then some were, as we talked, we wanted to do a bigger project, but we didn't know what it was. And I said project too, so we'll have to come up with a program. But Chris Steele was actually in one of our meetings and he had spoke about it. And so we actually learned through Mr. Dill. So a lot of this, we need to be thankful for him and bringing it up. So that's how we found out was through Chris.
Okay, so Chris,
Yes.
how did you find out about Community Heart and Soul?
Well, the Chamber of Commerce for many years had looked at different platforms of engaging the community-driven process planning for the community. Get all the citizens engaged in a process where they all felt like that they were important, that they were seen, and they had input in the process. I had looked around and had a discussion actually with Mayor Robert Armstrong, and both he and I had become familiar with Community Heart and Soul and the effectiveness, particularly in towns our size, of bringing people into the process and letting the residents themselves drive a process of telling one another what they love about their community, what's great about their community, why they're in the community, but also to see what deficiencies they have and see what assets we have and how we can make your community, Duncan, the best community it is. So that's kind of where I became familiar with it. They have a great website, which I introduced myself to it.
Right.
And then the mayor had, and so we talked about it, and he was very excited about the process. And so the more I thought about it, after this leadership class had their strategy and project planning and different types of things, it seemed to me they were all talking about getting the community all together to move in the direction that the community needed to go, that everyone was part of the process. So I always like they talk about, you invite everyone to the table, but this program actually takes the table into the communities with neighborhood meetings, community meetings. Everyone they could possibly have an opportunity that's given to them to have input. So that was the beauty of this program. And as we reached out to people like Suzanne, became more evident that this would be a great resident-driven process to engage in.
So is that how you guys, did you find Suzanne on the website?
We contacted Community Heart and Soul and they put a marketing coach with us. And so she's been with us every step of the way.
Okay, and so, how long has she been part of the conversation?
The conversation's been going on, well, about 4 months now, is just leading up to the, for our class project. So we're just now getting to the point of where it's about to take off.
Ah, okay, so
We're just,
right there.
it's, yes,
Right
right there.
Well, Suzanne, this might be a good time for you to, I feel like Chris probably did a good job introducing us to Community Heart and Soul, but as the market development rep, I guess for this area or region, tell us, like what is the goal of Community Heart and Soul? What is your mission? What is it that you guys seek to accomplish?
Well, we seek to accomplish a community development program that is unlike any that I know of, but we involve everyone. And in that process, we ask that we involve everyone, again, focus on what matters and plays the long game in it. And so it takes approximately 2 years to go through the process. We do a lot of storytelling, a lot of meeting the people where they are. And through all this, it helps the town economic development also, because people are more, they run for office more. They bring in more funds to the town. The people are starting to get along and they cooperate and they actually move the town to where they want it to go.
Mhm. So you have seen this Community Heart and Soul implemented, and like from the beginning through the 2-year process, and then the outcomes that you are striving for. You've seen this whole thing play out?
Yes, I have. And we're actually and have been adopted by 90 cities in the America. Our town populations, our target town populations are 2,500 to 35,000, because we're for the rural small towns to develop. And, you know, that's becoming a trend throughout, if you'll notice by what the universities are doing. Like, for instance, the Oklahoma State University has developed a rural renewal program, and they are offering a lot of help to rural areas. And it's just beginning to be a popular thing to have rural towns succeed, have, you know, rural towns do what they want to do with their future and where it all goes.
Right. And I mean, I'm thinking, you know, there was an election here in Oklahoma, well, you know, but I was just thinking about Oklahoma's election on Tuesday, and how when you look at a map of Oklahoma, there are only 2 really major metropolitan areas, and the whole rest of our state, it's a rural state, you know, and so I can see where this would be very exciting to, we don't think of Oklahoma as a flyover state because we live here, right? I mean, we know all the great things about Oklahoma, but to build up these small communities to, you know, make it, oh, hey, you know, where more people see how exciting rural life can be. I mean, I think that sounds fantastic. It's no wonder you guys got excited about this.
Well, you have to, you know, I think of our community as full of heroes, and, you know, all residents, this will give them an opportunity to feel more connected and to really dream their dreams. So Alan hasn't spoken up yet, but I think Alan will tell you, I'll let him amplify that, but all communities, all organizations go through what's called the strategic planning process, where they all get together and they put together a plan. But most generally, that plan is just put in a notebook and it's voted on, it's approved, and it's put on a hill. This particular program, as Susan mentioned, it's the long game. So she will be with us through this entire process as a coach. There will also be a project manager of this. So everything will be systematically through different phases, and I'm sure Alan and Susan and Chris will talk about those as well. But as you go through these phases, there are projects to be done, neighborhood meetings, or block parties, you name it, whatever to engage the community to make them feel connected, to ask them what it is they love about their community, what is their dream for their community, their children, their grandchildren, what would they like to see come to fruition. It's kind of like a MAPS program in Oklahoma City in a way,
Right.
but everyone is involved, and the project coordinator and the coach, Suzanne, they help direct this process. So even at the end of 2 years, it doesn't end.
Right.
It's a continually renewing of the mind and the spirit and the heart and soul of the community. So if the community becomes driven by itself and everyone feels connected and part of the process, and so that hopefully will pass from company to company and parents to children and children to grandchildren. And so people will learn what it is they truly love about their community. And, every area of the community would be affected and be able to participate in this and dream their dream.
Right.
And that's also a beauty of it. So it's not just a static process. It's a living, organic process that engages people. That's why I think they picked the name Heart and Soul, is that
Right.
it literally connects everyone in the community's heart and soul together.
Right. So, Suzanne, how long has Community Heart and Soul been, the foundation existed?
About 18 years. It goes
Oh,
back a
wow.
little further, but it was started by, his first name is Lyman Orton. He owns the Vermont Country Store. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's a big online presence, but they also have a little rural store in Vermont. And he was involved in some of the issues that were brought before the city and how, there was fighting and disagreements. And he worked through this whole process with his own town. And he thought, well, if it can work here, maybe it can work someplace else. And it all started.
Wow, that's a pretty good track record. I mean, right at 20 years, that's
90
impressive.
cities.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Yeah, 90 cities too.
And their best marketing actually is word of mouth communication from community to community.
Wow,
So
that is
It's almost like one community is recommending it to another. So,
nice. And so is that how do you know?
Well, like I
some
said,
of them?
ever since I've been in the chamber, I envisioned that we needed to actually somehow do a strategic planning process, that every layer, every pillar, whether it be the social, the entertainment, recreational, our infrastructure, we need it all set down and decide where we wanted to go with our community. We have a lot of challenges all the time, whether it be big geopolitical challenges or water challenges during the droughts that we've had or whatever. But how is it that we connect ourselves and we're prepared for our future, whether it be an emergency, whether it be some great opportunity of engaging with businesses to come in and bring jobs or to revitalize areas of our town. And so working through the chamber, every time I always ran into a dead end. It was always about money, and this program does cost money, but it always ran into money. And if you're going to expend this many funds, what record does this process have? And oftentimes, even back years ago when I did Dream Duncan's Destiny, as great as that was, the funding dried up down the road. The organization is actually doing it ceased to exist. It didn't have the track record that Heart and Soul.
Right, that's because that's what I've been
Yeah,
thinking
Dream
about.
Duncan
I was
Destiny.
a part of the
And there were a few, don't get me
3D
wrong, a lot of
coalition thing,
things.
but it just
So
kind
this,
of petered out, and so I want to know what's going to be different. What is going to make this one the one, the success? And I mean, you
Well,
have the
that's-
longstanding parent
Yeah, and
organization.
Ryan and Alan probably can tell you more about the phases. There are usually 4 phases, and Suzanne or Chris, but
Right,
each phase is designed to capture everything from feelings to data to the environment we're working in, what challenges, what strengths, what assets we have that we can utilize.
mhm,
You know, oftentimes this particularly, we learn about things in our community that are assets that maybe we didn't really know about or realize it was an asset. So it's also a way, instead of us trying to aspire to be Edmond or Norman or Dallas or whatever, we can just aspire to be the best Duncan that we can possibly be. And so I really applaud Leadership Duncan Class 26 for taking us down this path,
right,
being the
right,
catalyst for change and for engagement.
exactly.
It's really a big deal to me.
I think it is a great thing, and I feel like your class dynamic had to be unique and special for you guys to upfront be willing to take on a project that is a multi-year commitment. You know, that's not easy to do, to keep that momentum going just within that class, let alone get the whole community in. So, Chris or Alan, somebody, one of you guys, or just go back and forth, tell us what does this look like in Duncan? And I realize we're just getting started, but you guys have to have some kind of a vision.
Alan, go ahead.
All right, thanks, guys. Edie, thanks for having us today. I think it's incredible what you guys are trying to do in Duncan and promote things like this. I was also in leadership class 26 with Chris, Raul, and to go back just a little bit, Edie, every year they do that strategy shift, and I know you've been through it, you've seen it. You know, we were through that strategy shift. Basically, we went around the room, had people at different boards, and basically asking ourselves, you know, what are the barriers that we see in Duncan? You know, what is stopping Duncan from growing, from being the place that we want to be, others want to come into? What are our issues, and what are the things that we need to really focus on and solve in our own community? And so we had an opportunity to write on a whiteboard, and everybody just started shifting and continued to write on the other person's project. And so at the end of it, we actually, it came down to the heart of what we were trying to get to, and what everyone, there was such a commonality between all the common things that people were saying. And I'll take Chris Rao, for instance. I mean, this is a family that could live anywhere in the US and could actually do what he does anywhere, and has had opportunity to move out of Duncan. And what is it that would keep someone like that in Duncan? You know, he's got young kids, he's a professional, he's well connected, and has resources all over the US. So, and we see this every day in Duncan, and we see younger kids leaving and graduating and not coming back. And, you know, we really kind of got together in a strategy shift and said, we need to make real changes and listen to the people that are here today. And what can we do to improve our business climate? What can we do to improve our family environment, our education systems, you know, support our schools better, healthcare? And then also, what can we promote? What do we do good at? And what is it that we can get behind and promote to when I know economic development and Chris Dill at the chamber, you guys do a great job at promoting Duncan, but you see firsthand the places we need to really focus on to be better. And so really this is really, they described it as an ongoing practice. So I don't really know what to call it either, maybe an initiative, or I don't know. But Heart and Soul actually calls it, they actually call it an ongoing practice. So, you know, the difference to answer the question between this program and ones that have tried in the past is it's really a bottom-up approach to strategic planning. When you only approach the elite professionals in the town about what matters to them, well, that's what's driving your economic climate, and that's what's driving your strategic planning. There's a lot of good that has came out of that, and we're not saying that hasn't been the case, but we're trying to say, well, let's try a different approach here. let's go all through the community and ask everyone to where everyone has a voice, no matter what their education level is, no matter what their demographic is, their religious background, or what part of the town they live in. And let's go to them and ask them what matters most to them. What is it you want to see in Duncan? What's important to you? And so this program does that and gathers all that information and brings it down into very specific strategic projects that are presented to the city council and approved as part of the as part of their strategic planning. And so really it's a bottom up approach to funding, putting tax dollars where the people.
Right. And so this is like, it brings city government in
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
All the players,
All the
Everyone.
players.
including the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center.
Oh,
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's important to have, the backing and the support of Mayor Armstrong and the city. Because if we do all this work and take it up to them, like, here's what the people are saying. And they're like, oh, thanks. And they, we need their buy-in from the get-go, and we've actually got that. The city council has met, and we have a letter from them supporting what we're doing and adopting the Heart and Soul program as part of the strategic planning and what they're going to be doing in the future. So if I was running a business or a town or a city, I would want to listen to my people about what's important to them because they elected me, or they're hiring, I'm here because of them. And
Right.
that's exactly what Mayor Armstrong is saying, is we haven't had the manpower to do this, but we know it's a need and I want to do it. And I'm so interested in it and also willing to support and help. And so that's been a real critical piece of this.
So you said something just then that made me think. You said manpower. I have a feeling, even though, you're talking about from the bottom up and you're going to be talking to everyone, somebody is going to be the one going and talking. And in a community the size of Duncan, that cannot be a handful of people. It can't even be if every person in class 26 of Leadership Duncan, which was how many graduated? 24. That's not enough people to handle this. So what's the plan on the manpower side of it?
so right now what we're working on is building the leadership team, kind of the core group. These people are from all across different industries. Duncan is very fortunate to have the fairground that we do.
Right.
And
Yes.
so by Mr. Byerly's, going to come on board. And there's several others, our hospital. I don't know if people realize how special of a hospital we have for Southwest Oklahoma. So giving them a voice. There's several industries that are going to be a part of this leadership group. That is individuals, roughly 15 people to start. But this is just to go out and start speaking to the community and just getting them excited about there is something coming. We hear you. We want to be a part of this. We want to bring you on board. You tell us where to go. We're just support group. So yes, it might start with 15, but this is going to be a coalition of hundreds of people before it's over with. And that's the first phase, is just really getting everyone excited that there is something coming. We want to do something, and that's the first phase. So as we build that out.
And so Suzanne mentioned that it's a 2-year process. So is that 2 years building up to the whole coalition, or does that coalition happen in that 2-year period?
So there's 4 phases.
Okay.
And actually, Alan, if you would, will you speak on the 4 phases just so I don't mess up?
Yeah, the 4 phases, Edie. The first one is called Imagine, and basically that's where we build awareness and raise interest, sort of like what we're doing today. And we get commitment from all different segments of the community, like Chris was saying. We have a list, we've made an A list of people that we want to reach out to build our core team. And basically they're from not only businesses, but ethnicities, different cultures. And so we've really kind of narrowed it down to try to reach those people to build our core team that's such a well-versed mix of people that represent our community. And then we take that and move into phase 2, where this is where we engage many more volunteers to get out into the community by going to, community events, or even setting up one-off events to do on our own in different strategic places in Duncan, and gather stories. They call them stories, but basically it's asking them and getting a survey from them. And we take all that data and pull it together and move into phase 3, which is we narrow all that down to those action plans that I talked about earlier, in order to guide the city in planning the future of what we want to see. And I think physically, because I'm visual too, and I think the community needs to see this working to understand it, is you'll see little projects pop up here and there around Duncan, and that people will notice. And they don't have to be anything on the massive scale at first, but for instance, through this process, there was a gentleman who spoke up about having a crosswalk for the blind on Highway 81. I never thought about that. Those kind of projects, we need to listen to our people and get behind our city and help raise money. So this is also an organization that will be able to go out and grant write and raise money for itself to fund these projects. And so we'll see these little projects pop up that kind of build excitement that, hey, I was part of that. And people will know that came out of listening to you. And then when they see it come to fruition, it builds more confidence. The next time we go around and do this, it's a cycle that continues. And so each time we come back around and do these stories and gather this information, the more excited people will get, and the bigger the projects become.
So do you just kind of keep repeating this process to keep kind of perpetuating the, I mean, I don't want to just say it's feelings, but it has to be emotionally, people have to be emotionally attached to this. So do you keep going back and for more stories and does that help?
I think it's always evolving, right? 'Cause,
Uh-huh.
we just because we set the plan in place now, 50 years from now, doesn't mean that it's going to even be relevant. So with the community bought in, we're going to be talking to them all the time. We're going to be, barbecues and just listening and, hey, have you seen what you accomplished? This is what you accomplished, not what we accomplished or what the city accomplished. This is you as a community of Duncan. This is what you have accomplished. So, let's look at that plan. Do we need to change something now? And so it's ever evolving. It's always going to be talking to, everyone. So I think that's the beautiful part about it. Once it's not set, it's set in stone. It's not set in stone. We can revamp it, keep talking, and just be very fluid with it.
Right. I mean, that automatically makes it sound different to me. That and nobody's wanting to, make like something, tablets of stone that you're mounting somewhere, these are the hard and fast things. This is it. These are the goals. It sounds like there's always opportunity to change direction if necessary. And just think about the last couple of years, how everyone's lives, things are very different. We wouldn't be having a Zoom meeting, if things had not changed like they had when COVID hit. And so things that initially seem burdensome or this is so different, but it can always become an opportunity.
Yes, they can. And I think going back to what you're talking with COVID, we've had a large population move in that's not from Duncan, Oklahoma.
Mhm.
The hospitals brought people in, Machine Products, Halliburton, all these people are bringing people in. So this is an opportunity to really revitalize Duncan. And so what everyone has done to get us here, we're thankful for. We appreciate all the hard work that everyone has put in generation after generation. It's time for us, we feel like, to move forward with a plan, with a vision. So, but that's not my vision. That's not Alan's vision. It's not the city's. The city is supporting us because we have a very open-minded city management. We've got with Kim Meek, with Robert, the city council, everyone, no one wants to cast their vision on someone. We want to hear the community's vision and work with them to help make it accomplish it.
Mhm. Right, right. That's very well said, Chris. I love that. And I'm thinking too about, the new relationships that will be built by, people from different parts of town meeting and working together and not seeing each other as, oh, you live across the tracks, or, oh, you live in whatever big neighborhood, but that we're all citizens of Duncan. And we all should have a common goal in mind, and we should be able to help each other. No matter what what kind of resources you have to give, you always have yourself to give. You can always give time or, help someone in some other way. And I just love the stories part of that. I think that sounds relatable,
And it helps us find common ground. And that's important, right?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, like you're saying, the diversity in it, but we're all the same. We're all, I want to say God's children. We're all working, here. This is our home. So let's do all we can and make it the best home we can.
Right, right. Yeah, and Suzanne, is that what the Mr. Vermont store? I'm so sorry, that sounds very disrespectful, but I could not think of what you said his name was at that moment.
Oh, Mr. White.
His name is Orton. I can't remember his first name.
Lyman Orton.
Lyman.
Now, see, that's a name someone should not forget. I'm apologizing to anyone who
Dr. Seuss.
felt offended by that. I'm very sorry. Okay.
And
Lyman
I wanted to bring up, we didn't discuss phase 4, which is ACT. And that's
Oh.
where our heart and soul statements will officially be adopted by the town and city councils. And it's incorporated into the comprehensive planning of the city and is used to guide future plans and actions. So that's really important there. It gets what we call embedded into the community government.
Okay, the ACT part. And right, that's what we were talking about, kind of everything leading up. That's where the rubber hits the road, I'm guessing.
Yes. And I have to compliment the Duncan Leadership Group. They're amazing. They're just a group of amazing people. I'm just so proud of them for doing this.
That's awesome. I'm super excited that this is happening in our community. Really, guys, this is this can be life-changing. It can be life-changing. Yes, it will be. I'm friends with someone who grew up in Elm Terrace, went to school at Woodrow Wilson, and is now attending the middle school. And that is where the cultures collide for the first time here in Duncan, is at the middle school. And just thinking about all of the differences that she will experience, the different people, the different lifestyles, different cultures, so different from what she has experienced in her little worldview is, and it's being all changed, and it's being changed by every one of those students who are sixth graders this year. And I'm just imagining a place where that's not going to be such a big thing, because it's going to be worked out to a degree before that. And it's, and it's going to, I don't know. I'm
This
kind of
builds
a dreamy person
Well,
sometimes.
on your dream, it builds on the fact that, we really as a community agree on 80% of things in life is the 20% that kind of marginalizes. But the thing is, the commonality here is one of the statements of the Heart and Soul is we have one thing in common, we all live here.
Mhm.
And that means that all of us should look at the best quality of life. So at the middle school or wherever, people don't feel marginalized, they feel connected, they feel that they have relationships that give them access to the community and to things that make it worth living here.
Right, exactly. So, is it like, how do you, does this, start or include like children?
Well, actually, that's one thing, one of the days we were at Leadership Duncan, we were at the high school, we, visited, we heard from leadership, the Duncan leadership,
Mhm.
then when we left, I was like, we've got to incorporate them because our leaders, our young leaders. So like he was saying, most of the time when they graduate, they're gone. And then it's not till later that they might move back because their parents are here or whatever. And that's, in my case, that's one reason we moved back because my parents were here. We don't want that to be the reason. We want them to go, man, Duncan has it going on. And we were a part of it before we left. And now they've done several action items that we wanted to see. So, they want to come back and get on the train and just keep on plowing forward and accomplish it. And I think, with COVID again, it just, a sense of community is a big deal now. And that's the way it should have been a long time ago. But we're back to that in rural Oklahoma, rural America, period.
Mhm.
The values that, people agree on is just getting these young kids, hearing them out because they have a voice. So yes, we are going to bring them aboard as well.
Awesome. I think that is fantastic because, I watched my poor kids graduate from here and move away, and I don't think they'll ever move back here. But, as they are, with things as they are, there's very little, that would draw them back except to come and visit us. They're probably not watching, so I won't make them feel guilty at all by
But
that.
many communities, and if you look at the economic impact, when a communities come together and they've centered and they have connected their hearts with one another, you can look at the economic impact of this program, whether it be other industries come in, higher tech industries, or
Right.
looking at the economy in a different way, say, oh, we didn't realize that was such a big part. We need to really do some more to help them. And every community, I think Chris and Alan would agree that you see also that economic, because at the end of the day, in quality of life, we have to have jobs for those young people to come back to as well. And so that's another beautiful feature of this. I think it sets the community up well for that to be received.
Right. And you think about, I think infrastructure is something that you talked about, like that would be something people might talk about. And there are just, wouldn't it be great if you could drive all the way through Duncan and you never thought about it being a socioeconomic cluster here and then a different one here and a different one here, but it's just a community. Wouldn't that just be, listen to me, I am super excited about this. Wait, practice.
You go and to YouTube to Community Heart and Soul and look at all the fantastic videos they have on there. You'll be more excited.
I got to watch one of the videos because you guys shared it at the Leadership Duncan graduation, and it was very impactful. Very impactful. It was a great video. I hope you guys have a chance to share that sort of thing. Before we make our own, we'll probably have our own Duncan version of the.
You'll have your own Duncan version. One of my favorites is called Hippies and Rednecks, and it's produced by the middle school in this town. It is really cute and inspiring.
That is fun. Okay, so you guys, you said we're kind of right on the edge of this thing really taking off. So what does the next step look like? Like, what is the number one thing you guys are planning to do
we're finishing the core team right now.
Okay,
And then from there, that's when you'll start seeing Facebook posts and different things about heart souls here and different, those. So just a little patience, but I promise it's coming like a freight train.
all right. Well, and now, Chris said something about, if this is going to have a cost attached to it naturally. So, what does that, how is that going to be, handled?
Well, actually, Alan, if you'll speak on the golf tournament, just the first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, as every other project, it definitely has a cost associated with it. The good thing is Leadership Class 26 saw the importance and wanted to invest in this. And I'm thankful that all of our classmates pulled together, did a fundraising golf tournament. We all worked very hard, was able to raise $10,000 to start this initiative. Now, when we raise $10,000, that allows us to apply for a seed grant with Community Heart and Soul that will match that. So we will get a $10,000. We have the application 90% complete through a series of emails that Chris and Susan and I have sent around just the last couple of days. We have all the information we need to apply for that grant. And it just so happens that we're a little bit closer to some of the people on that grant committee within the organization that we started with, that we feel really confident that we're going to be able to get awarded this grant. So also the city has agreed, they have money set aside and they have agreed to help fund potentially a permanent administrator, give us office space if we need it. They're really behind this.
Wow.
So once we get the seed, our money from Leadership Duncan class, and we apply the seed for the seed grant and are awarded that's when Susan is really going to come on and start engaging and get these processes put in place. And then we'll also be able to start going out and seeking other grants and donations. And once we become our own 501c3, which is in process right now, we've got to build the team, we've got to get the governance down, and then we'll apply for the 501c3 status. Then I think we'll start seeing this really start infiltrating the community.
Right. So has the golf tournament already happened?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you have the $10,000.
That's perfect.
Okay,
Yes.
so I was wondering if you were going to be forming a 501c3. So does that mean this group of people, your core group, will they be a board, or is a board going to be separate? Is that a
The
separate?
board will be
group?
separate, but some of them may be on that board,
Right,
but this is
right.
just the leadership group to get it started.
So I'm thinking about ways community members can assist you
Well, so
besides being a little willing to donate or
I
participate.
think be
in a
willing to,
fundraiser.
so when you do hear someone speak of Community Heart and Soul, just be willing to talk about it
Mhm.
and listen, and then learn as much as you can as well through the website or whatever that, make yourself familiar with it. That way you can educate other people when you're talking to them, that, hey, this is going on in the community, here's what it is. And then also when we do put events out, because everything is close to my heart is with food. So I'm sure we'll be having cookouts.
It's a big draw for everyone.
We want to break bread, right?
Right.
We want to break bread with each other. And so, when you see events, just pitch in and just, help if it's cleaning up or whatever, just, but we'll be, probably doing Facebook posts very soon where, if you want to get on board and just, hey, I got time, whatever to help, just let us know. We'll get you on a list and then we'll start reaching out with, hey, this is the first event, please come.
Mhm. Okay, so, so you'll get the money started, and then how do you, how do you decide how that is spent? like what kinds of things? Is it like the cookout, or is that something that would be more of a fundraiser?
That won't be a fundraiser, the cookout part, I'm sure that'll be donated from somebody,
There's another way you can help the viewers.
barbecues. But Alan, do you want to elaborate a little bit more on her question?
Yeah, Edie, I think initially the funds are going to be obviously to help provide money to have Susan and her team coach us through this process the first year. And we'll eventually have a full-time administrator that runs this. And there will be a board of directors, obviously that governs it. It may or may not be part of the initial core team. And at phase 4, when it becomes an action, there is another team that's formed that will be the permanent board. And that's more of a, and it could potentially be some of the core team that wound up staying with this through the process and say, I want to be a part of it. And that's when you build the long-term board members. Initially, we'll have expenses for the coaching. We'll have a little bit of administrative expenses. The city, again, is going to help, if we need office space or anything like that. There'll be some marketing and all that, which is part of what the money that we've raised from Leadership Duncan is going to go toward. And so, once we get to that level, we think there's going to be more money that will come in here. I think it'll raise some eyebrows of people that want to invest in this, because ultimately they know it's going to improve the climate and the culture in Duncan. And I think the more awareness we raise of it, and as we build this thing out and get it to where it can come to fruition, where people can really see what it is, we'll have more people that are interested in donating and investing in it.
Right. Yeah, I see it just kind of
It'll
helping
also have
itself.
a project coordinator that'll be addressing things every week on it as well.
Right,
So that's another expense, but it's also very important.
very,
To help the leadership teams and their, keep everything moving with Susan, the coach.
Mhm.
So that's an important piece that allows us to have sustainability from year to year.
Mhm. Well, I can see why you guys, really jumped on this. This is a very exciting, it had the potential is just, it's so great. And, I feel like Duncan is just really fortunate, really blessed that you guys saw this and you didn't just decide to pick one part and try to fix that or try to help that, but you just had the vision to see the city as a whole, and you're just so willing to meet the needs and bring us all together. And I just feel like we're so fortunate. And I can't wait to see where this really goes. I just think that this is really going to be a fantastic, what was the practice thing you said?
The ongoing
Alan?
practice.
Ongoing practice, yes, this is gonna be a
Yes.
great practice. I need to get that in my vocabulary.
I
It's gonna be.
don't know if that'll stick or not. That's just what they call it.
I'm trying.
I know I'm certainly proud of them, of watching them go through the process and hard work that not just Alan and Chris, but their entire class. It was amazing to watch them come together, and just so proud of them and the fact that, and they continue to have the dialogue and continue to move forward with it. A lot of times you want to do a project and have it, one and done, and they've chosen to plant this seed that I think will enter and cover the whole community and help them connect their heart and souls together. And I just really applaud the class. They've really been amazing to watch.
And viewers, these are people who have families and jobs and other responsibilities and commitments as well. So please understand what a great sacrifice they are making to a degree. And please be willing to help and support when you see a need, and let's all jump on board and join the community heart and soul train. See what I did
I like that,
there?
I like that.
Uh-huh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. That one just fell out. I didn't even plan it. It happened.
I like it.
Um, Yeah. Anything else you want to add? Susan, do you have anything you want to add to any of what's been said?
No,
Okay, well, I'm really glad that you're on board and a part of this whole team as well. I think you probably have a ton of experience and knowledge that you're going to be sharing and encouraging and coaching these people, these guys along. And
It's great.
yeah, and Alan and Chris, thank you so much for coming on Trail Talk and just sharing with our viewers, you know, what you see coming down the road. I mean, this is really a
It is
very
exciting.
exciting.
isn't
It
Yeah,
is.
It is exciting.
It is. I can get excited about things sometimes, and this is one of those things. I'm very pumped up about it. So anyway, thank you so much. And Chris, thanks for coming back. As
Thanks for
always.
having us.
You've always got some great information to share. And so remember, guys, Community Heart and Soul, be watching for it on Facebook and I'm sure in print and probably flyers and I don't know, but when you see it, stop and read and see what you can do to be a part of the Community Heart and Soul of Duncan. Well, it's time for us to say goodbye, and we just always say happy trails when we sign off. So if you guys don't mind joining me, we'll say goodbye. Happy
Happy trails.
Happy trails.